Sharon has the burden, if I can put it this way, of being the keeper of the tablets in terms of that experience and what it is that we sell our visitors. So Sharon?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. When Russell asked me to sit on the panel, he did tell the truth. I gave him just about every excuse. I told him that I'm shy, I'm not a good public speaker, I say too many times. But then I looked at the theme for the entire conference, which is moving beyond the bubble. So I'm moving beyond my own bubble this afternoon. Moving beyond the bubble is quite an interesting concept, actually. Several questions come to mind. Are we in the BVI ready to move beyond our bubble? Are we ready to play in the global marketplace and compete at the level which takes us out of our normal? The answer is somewhat. Since the early 1960s, when Lawrence Rockefeller set his eyes on Little Dix Bay, the British Virgin Islands has been thrust into the global tourism spotlight. Have we embraced it? At times we have, and at other times we tend to just go with the flow, flowing with the ebbs and the tides of what's happening with world tourism trends. In the past 5 years, we have been recovering from the global economic recession, and just when we were about to breathe a sigh of relief, we are faced with a new dynamic, a reminded reality right at our doorsteps: Cuba. We depend on an industry that is dynamic and changes continuously. And the question for us is, how do we respond? As you can tell from the tone of my presentation, we are looking at the reality of tourism in the BVI. About 5 years ago, we saw a visitor arrival stagnate. But we've seen growth in the last 2 years, which says that the recovery is underway and continued growth can be realized. However, we really have to ask ourselves, are we doing what is needed to take full advantage of the endless possibilities? Are we developing our human resources to capitalize on this growth? How does our infrastructure stack up? How do we effectively manage our environment to handle the anticipated influx that will come? Are we marketing to our full potential and reaching the right audience? Are we doing enough to have a first-class sustainable tourism product? These are just some of the questions that the BVI Tourist Board's team continue to ask ourselves. These are some of the questions that really keep us awake at night. And the overriding question becomes, which Russell gave the tone of the conference, are we positioned to take that luxury puck? It is important that we recognize that we're competing globally. Our visitors at our end of the market are not only looking at the Caribbean, they're looking at the Indian Ocean, they're looking at Asia, they're looking at Dubai. And years ago, the BVI did not consider Antigua, Turks and Caicos, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts as our competitors because we were in our own bubble. As can be seen, these islands have become very aggressive at going after what I consider our guests. At the BVI Tourist Board, as we pay attention to the changes and trends, we have started with the area that we have control over, and that is marketing. As Al has just shared with you, we are responding by improving the way we position our territory and promoting it in our major source markets. We now have a much better understanding of who the BVI visitor really is. But it is not enough. We have a lot of work to do at home, as we have to ensure that we reduce the gap between perceptions, expectations, and reality. We know the old adage that Rome was not built in a day, but the days are passing quickly. Today, it is even more critical that we work together towards moving beyond the bubble. It is vital that we move at lightning speed to ensure that we remain competitive. Luxury travel is evolving, and while luxury is in the eye of the beholder, it is not just about the room or the hotel. It's about the experience. It's about the welcome. It's about the goodbye. It's about the interaction, and it's about the ease of access. The luxury traveler is discerning, and the BVI has the attributes to cater to them. Private islands, resorts, luxury villas, unique properties, and of course, we're known worldwide as the sailing capital of the world. But what are all of these things if there's no one to enjoy them? Cuba is adding that new dimension and yet another choice for the traveler. Their cruise ports, as well as their new marinas and yachting sector, will greatly benefit from their close proximity to the United States. While there are still restrictions to Americans visiting Cuba, Cuba at this point attracts over 100,000 visitors from the US, which is our largest source market. Yes, their luxury segment may not be as developed as the BVI right now, but we still have to be concerned. And now is the time for us to invest in product, training, marketing, sales, and market development. In preparation to compete in this marketplace and to reduce our dependency, we have done quite a few things at the Tourist Board within the last few years to move towards repositioning ourselves. In 2013, we opened the first marketing and PR office in Latin America, and this year, if all goes well, by mid-year, we hope to open an office in France. At the same time, we continue to review all strategies, but it means that we have, as a destination, to think differently. We have to invest differently, train differently, and we have to change the paradigm of our thoughts. Can we deliver on that luxury product? I believe we can. In order to ensure that we are ready to receive that luxury puck, it is necessary for us to focus, in my estimation, in two main areas. One, ensuring that all BVI landers and residents understand and appreciate that tourism is our business and is a mainstay of our economy. This is not simply those of us who work on the front lines of tourism. Our children need to be educated from an early age on the importance of tourism and the importance of delivering a consistently high quality product and a guest service experience. It is important that as well that all of our government agencies and our civil servants understand and appreciate that although their mandate may not necessarily be tourism, that the tourism trump card must enter into every conversation, especially where decisions are being made that would affect tourism. Yes, of course, it may mean another meeting or two, but we need to develop more synergies. All BVI residents, irrespective of place of birth, should be able to speak intelligently about the BVI. We should no longer hear, I ain't from here, I don't know where that is. That is not acceptable for us in tourism. The guest does not distinguish between who's a local and who's a non-local. Our people are important, and very important part of our product. Oftentimes, the visitor will talk about the nice hotel and a private island resort, but the one thing that either makes or breaks that vacation experience is the people component. Number two, the improvement of our tourism product and our infrastructure. Those who know me well know that I always talk about my mom at every opportunity I get. And she was a hospitality pioneer. She was a humble woman who set high standards for herself and her children and her business. She was infamous for her musings, and two things come to mind. She would say that, quote unquote, not because something is old means that it should be unkempt. And she would also say, cleanliness is next to godliness. In order to improve our product, we really need to address the cleanliness of our country. It is such a basic and simple step that can mean so much. We need to take a top-down holistic approach on this. We need to reach into our communities and look at the way our yards and gardens are kept. We need to look at the cleanliness of our buildings and of our ports. We need to maintain our beaches, our oceans, and our shorelines. And to do this, sometimes we need more education and a sense of pride. Luxury may mean different things to the luxury traveler, but the one thing that I've seen that has been consistent among the traveler is that cleanliness, timeliness, and a high level of guest service is expected. In order to successfully receive that puck, we also need to be forward-thinking and not try to be like every other Caribbean destination. The luxury traveler is looking for a destination with a difference. I always love that tagline from the tourist board a few years ago that said, yes, we are different. We are not for everyone. To receive the luxury puck, I think we need to pay close attention to that. We need to give our traveler that BVI experience, and we need to exceed the expectations. To wrap up, Martin Luther King said he had a dream. Well, at the BVI Tourist Board, I tell my team, we have a vision. And I'd just like for you to imagine with me for about 30 seconds. Just imagine leaving the USVI via a high-speed ferry, which has a first class and a coach cabin configuration with a very high level of onboard guest service. After being greeted by BVI greeters at both the Cyril E. King Airport in St. Thomas and the ferry dock, you are presented with a warm smile from that greeter and a bottle of BVI spring water. Just imagine arriving at the BVI seaport to be met by smiling port ambassadors and immigration and customs personnel who are very pleasant and can call our visitors by name because they have the arrival documents in front of them. Just imagine a speedy process and a waiting arrival lounge that is comfortable with seating and sensitized to the luxury guest who is visiting the BVI. Imagine us having a database where we can identify who our repeat guests are and be able to say to them, welcome back to the BVI. That is luxury. That is what BVI is supposed to be all about. This is a vision where all experiences, whether by land or by sea, we create a wow moment. Can we achieve this? I am confident that we can, but we need to be bolder and even more aggressive and innovative than we've ever been. And we all have to be in this together. The competition is fierce, and we must take our game to the next level. We must, as Russell says, move beyond the bubble. We must change the paradigm so that we can remain competitive and be poised to receive that puck and score the goal. It can be done. Thank you.